The Emmy nominations are in, and it is a strange time for the entertainment industry, with production mostly delayed because of the pandemic, of course. But as they say, the show must go on, and we don't know what a virtual Emmys will actually look like come September. But for now, we at least know who is up for the statues. And joining us now to break it all down is Variety senior editor Michael Schneider. Michael, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I was just telling you here off camera, I'm pretty proud of myself. I have almost a 4-year-old and almost a 2-year-old, and I was able to watch most of these shows, or at least a nice portion of these shows. So I'm pretty proud of myself, because usually with the kids, I can't catch up on things. So are you having that same issue, or are you good over there?
Well, we're in the quarantine right now, right? So what else are we going to do but watch a lot of TV? So I think, a lot of people spent the last couple of months catching up on these shows. So hopefully they are a little more familiar with some of these.
You're right. And one of the big ones is Watchmen on HBO. It led the way with 26 nominations. It's a modern take on the classic graphic novel that's grounded in real-world racism. And it's kind of fitting right because of where we are right now in America. So tell me a little bit more about Watchmen and why it was so successful.
Yeah, I think Watchmen, for starters, was just really well done, really fantastic show, some great acting, including Regina King, who was nominated for Best Actress. But also, as you mentioned, it dove into topics that we're talking about right now: systemic racism, the history of police brutality against African Americans, a lot of subjects that we're talking about, which makes Watchmen even more relevant and important right now. And it was rewarded with those 26 nominations.
I remember when they did the episode on the massacre in Oklahoma, how many people said they never heard about that, and they were of all races, and they were saying they were shocked by it, and went back and did some history and research on it. So that's the power of what shows can do. Then another, successful platform will be Netflix. It smashed the record for most nominations of any network, and the Television Academy also gave newcomers Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus their first nod. So streaming is all the thing, right? It's all the rave right now. So with the streaming platforms doing so well, what is that going to say for traditional broadcast networks that were accustomed to having so much success?
Right. Well, we continue to see fewer nominations for broadcast TV, but even cable TV is really starting to decline. Premium cable like HBO still does very well, but a lot of the basic cable networks just aren't performing like they once did. But yeah, you mentioned Netflix, and they dominated, from Ozark to The Crown to so many different shows. Netflix just has a ton of shows, and that volume pays off with 160 nominations, the most in history of any network, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, people look, everybody's Netflix and chilling right now, Michael. A whole lot of Netflix and chilling going on. Leslie Jones kicked off, and she announced the nominees for this year's award show this morning. It was, of course, from a virtual set, and Jimmy Kimmel is going to host the ceremony. But again, it's kind of unclear what TV's biggest night is actually going to look like. We see Jimmy Kimmel, his show airs every night from his home. He's doing it that way, so I don't know if it'll be kind of similar to that. What are you expecting right now in just these strange times with the show, and kind of how they'll be able to put it on?
Yeah, I think we saw a little hint of that with Leslie Jones today in a studio all by herself, I think with a single cameraman. And we'll see, I think, a mix of that and some remote performers come in. But, that's what Jimmy Kimmel, his producers, the producers of the show are trying to figure out right now. A lot can change between now and September. And I think that'll sort of educate us on whether or not they can do more of a show from a studio, or if everything's going to be remote. But yeah, this is going to be the weirdest Emmys ever.
Yeah, we're all in these strange times. So many different things we're used to and accustomed to watching, or being done in basements, or as you mentioned, in sets with one person. It's been wild. What are your biggest surprises, Michael? Biggest snubs? Anything that surprising? Maybe trends? Maybe seeing more African Americans nominated? People of color? What struck out for you?
Yeah, diversity was fantastic. One of the great nominations was Zendaya for the HBO show Euphoria. She's a young actress, just sort of hitting it big now. Not the kind of person that the Academy always pays attention to. So that was fun to see her nominated. The Mandalorian was nominated for Best Drama for Disney Plus. This is the first time a new streaming service has managed to get a Best Series nomination in its very first year of existence. So that was huge there. And then there's the usual snubs. Surprised that Pose didn't get more nominations, but that show's been off the air for a year. Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul is a personal favorite. I wish she would get nominated. But generally, I think the Academy got it pretty right this year. It's hard because there's so many great shows and not enough categories, not enough nominations to go around. But I think they did okay.
Well, here's why I enjoy having people such as yourself, Michael, on. Because you can educate myself. I told you I don't get to watch too much right now, as well as the viewers. quickly give us some shows that are maybe airing now that you're enjoying, that you're watching, that maybe could be in the 2021 Emmy categories. But give us a few shows that you're enjoying right now.
Well, I'm sort of doing some catch up right now, and I'm catching up on Schitt's Creek, which we should mention was a big nominee today as well. It's such a fun show. It's a perfect show to watch right now. There's so many dark shows on TV, I think we were talking about earlier. Schitt's Creek's just a fun, light comedy that was nominated for a ton of Emmys today. It's streaming on Netflix right now, and so honestly, I'm going back and I'm catching up on that. Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Dan Levy, all nominated. That show got 15 nominations today. If you haven't watched Schitt's Creek yet, then join me and catch up.
I'm hearing a lot about people talk about that show. Was it The Marvelous Mrs. Mabel as well? I hear a lot of good things about that. So I'm going to watch all these. Michael Schneider, senior editor of Variety. We appreciate you taking time today. Thank you.
Thanks so much.